them come. This is their fate.
Let me get my Birdman hands in there. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. Today, we're going to be just talking about 2024, really. We're going to be talking about the year we've had, and we're going to be talking a little bit about what should we be expecting, mostly from Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox for the year 2025. But yeah, without further ado, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you been up to, what you been doing, how's life going, how was Christmas? Talk to the people.
Yeah, I guess it has been a while since we did our last podcast. Christmas passed, and for me, New Year's just passed. It's already 2025 here in Japan.
Oh, yeah,
You left us in the last year. Boy, left us in the last year.
Y'all need to catch up. Y'all still back there playing Borderlands. I'm doing all right. Me and the family, we celebrated New Year's Eve yesterday. Just mostly at home, doing a lot of cleaning, shopping for like food and stuff so we can have dinner. And we had family dinner last night. So 2025 is here. As for Christmas, we had a pretty chill Christmas. My daughter and I ended up getting sick. Came down with the influenza. So we were sick for probably like 4 days. Didn't really get anything done, but we got better. By Christmas Day, everybody was better. So we opened up some presents. Had a good time. Of course, my daughter got a bunch of gifts, but we've been trying to buy her less toys. Just because she has so many and they're like not going anywhere. They're just taking up space.
Yep, that's
but
pretty much the case for every kid out there. That's unfortunate, but the grandparents love them. So, but go ahead.
Yeah, she ended up getting a lot of stuff from other people in the family, which also included toys. But overall, she was pretty happy. And when they're like really young, it's not a big deal of like how many gifts they get because they don't really understand anything. But come back in 2-3 years, you'll be complaining about the quality of gifts. So enjoy it while you can. Other than that, I've been pretty busy with work and like working on projects because I'm trying to finish up a project for like my portfolio so that I can have something to show for my next like job interview.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been keeping me pretty busy. But since when I was sick, I was able to start playing 2 games.
Okay.
And so those 2 games are made by the same developer, which is Airship Syndicate, I think. And they're known for working on the Darksiders series. I think that it was some people who worked on Darksiders 1 and 2. They end up making a different studio, I'm pretty sure. But then they came out the most recent Darksiders game, which was like a spinoff. It wasn't Darksiders 3, it was another one. But anyways, they worked on Darksiders. I never really liked the Darksiders games, but and they've been around for a while, so I was checking out what they made. And the first one was Ruin King. Ruin King is a League of Legends turn-based RPG, and I was interested in that because, like, y'all know, I finished Arcane recently, and I just think the world is interesting. But I don't have any interest in playing League right now. One, because it's a PvP game, and then also since I live in Asia, they have super super strict like servers, and if you're outside of like the US, like physically, they literally won't let you play on the US server. Even with like VPNs and stuff. So I gotta switch to Asia, which means it's gonna reset all my progress and blah blah blah. So I'm just not gonna play League right now, but I'm still interested in that world. So I picked up Ruin King a couple months ago, but I haven't played it. But Ruin King tells a side story of like a couple of the main characters. nothing to do with Arcane, of course, but it's still the same world. So it's pretty interesting, and the art style that the developer does, it's pretty unique, like very stylized, very colorful, but still looks very good. So I've been playing that. So far, it's pretty fun, but it's early in the game, maybe like the first 10 hours. And then the second game I played was also by the same developer, which is called Wayfinder. And Wayfinder I played a couple months ago in closed beta, I think, or closed alpha. But what happened with this game is that it's a failed live service game. And it's a failed live service game because it came out in like early access and a lot of people didn't play it. They were losing money. The deal that they had with the publisher fell through, so the publisher actually left the project and left all the financial burden on the developers. And then they didn't make a lot of money with the early access. The early access money went with the publisher when they left because that was their deal. The publisher kept the money. And then but what they tried to do, or what they said they were going to do, is okay. We understand the early access is not going well, and we're kind of in a crunch for money. So what we're going to do, we're going to stop selling the game for like 3 months. We're going to remove all the live service features. We're going to make it a single player offline game with co-op and with no microtransactions. It's just going to be $20 upfront. So that's what they did. They took it off sale for a couple months. They removed all the microtransactions, all the live service upgrades, all the weird like farming stuff you have to do to like upgrade stuff. Relaunched the game and called it Wayfinder 1.0. And so I've been playing that, and it's actually pretty fun.
Okay.
Like it's not. Of course, it's not a 10 out of 10 game. It had issues, but I didn't even say the type of game. It's an action RPG, like a fantasy action RPG. The world is pretty big. It was kind of like a Destiny, like where you go out, into like the Cosmodrome. You doing side quests, you doing public events and stuff like that. So they removed all that stuff, but it's still 3-player co-op if you want to, or you can play it by yourself. It's balanced for single player. It's got loot drops from bosses. The character classes all have different abilities, but one thing I like is that they used to start with like how to put it, like if you pick the guy with the sniper rifle, he's stuck with the sniper rifle in most games, right? But what they did is allow every character to switch to any weapon. So that sniper rifle guy, let's say he's put down traps, but you don't like his playstyle, you can get rid of the sniper rifle, give him a sword and shield, and he's still got the same abilities, and it changes the dynamic of the game where it's like, oh, I actually like this character now because like I can throw a bomb down on the ground, but I don't have to run away because I got a sniper. I can just stay in their face and start punching them and stuff like that. So overall, I would say it's been pretty fun. It's like overall like a 7 out of 10 game. The story is not anything to talk about, but the gameplay loop is fun. The loot drops are fun. The characters are fun. It's got a bunch of cosmetics and stuff that you can just beat up a boss. It drops the cosmetics. You can customize your character, like no microtransactions at all. So overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the game, and I got it on the Christmas sale for $10, and I feel like for $10, I've definitely got my money's worth. So it's one of those interesting cases of live service games that if it came out when it did, it's competing with so many different people, and the expectations for a live service game are much higher, just because like they're literally asking for like 2-3 times amount of your time.
Yep.
So that you can do these challenges and battle pass and weeklies and stuff like that. Whereas when they removed all of that, I have no friction with the game, even though it's like a 7 out of 10 game, just quality wise overall. I can just have fun, put it down when I'm not interested, or if I'm too busy, and pick it up again later because there's no friction involved with, I guess, single player games. So that I think they did it. I don't know how successful it's been. I don't know what they're gonna do next, but overall, I'm pretty happy with the product. And they came out with an update maybe last month. They added nightmare mode, which is just harder difficulty for more rewards. And I'm playing through that on the first playthrough, and I think it's pretty fun. So yeah, Wayfinder. I don't know if it's still on sale, but like, yeah, if you get it for $20 or less, it's definitely worth it. And I think it's on PlayStation 5 as well. So uh, yeah, those are two games I've been playing. Airship Syndicate games.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the rundown. Open world zone type S game. I'm looking at here at a trailer right now. But yeah, something y'all guys can check out, especially if you're interested in the action RPG. But I think I'm gonna save that space for a little bit of that Path of Exile when I get a chance, get around to it. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, this looks pretty interesting as well. Uh, what about you, Jalen? What you been up to? What you been doing? What you been playing?
Shoot, games I've been playing. I mean, really, I just been playing the same old multiverse. You know, I got to get my Xbox hours in. I'm just a reigning
Gotta
champion.
pad those stats, huh? Mr. Stat
Pat
Padder.
no,
Pad stats.
nah, but
What you Russell Westbrook now? Nah, just
literally, I was just thinking of. So, nah, but that, I've been playing Metaphor, so it ain't a whole lot. I'm probably about like 30 hours in now.
Yep.
On Metaphor, I'm still been playing that. I just played it a little bit earlier today, last night. So I had tried to pick it up just a little bit more because I had just beat the Shadow Generation, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, whatever you're gonna call it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had beat that. I mean, it wasn't a long campaign. I mean, it probably like 7 to 10 hours long, so it ain't a whole lot. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, little victories. I got to count every game I beat.
Did you
So
have
it ain't
fun?
like before that. It was cool. It was cool for what it was. I thought I was expecting something a little bit different for the ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I like to see. I actually went back and played some of Generations, and I could just tell like Shadow Generations is something newer than what the Sonic Generations is. Like even just like the gameplay, the mechanics, like the fluidity of the game and stuff. Like I can tell like the Sonic Generations. And I could be wrong because I didn't look into all this, but the way the game feels, the way the game plays, it looked like they remastered that, cleaned up some stuff on the Sonic Generations aspect. But the Shadow, I can tell was like it was something that's newer that they probably built from the ground up with it. It just feels
Gotcha.
different. Even just the controls are different. They do like some of the
Mm.
same things, if that makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, so but it was cool though. I enjoyed it. I probably go back and play some of the Sonic Generation stuff, but I already done played it before, so I ain't really like super impressed.
Press
I
it
will
on.
say I thought Sonic Unleashed was cold, man. I think it
Mhm.
was sometime last week, man. I went back and played. I'm like, yeah, man, I gotta cut this mug off, bro. This mug is goner, bro. I can't play this no more. Not because of the Warhog part. That was as a kid, I don't know how I played through that, bro. Like I remember being annoyed as a kid playing through it, but when I had cut it back on like a week ago and tried playing some of that, I said, "Oh hell nah, bro, cut this off, bro. Get it off, get it off." Like it was straight like that, bro. The other part was cool playing with Sonic and stuff, but I could still tell like it's a little dated when I was playing it, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But that's pretty much it though. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's still some good gaming in. There's still some. Did you? Well, I think maybe you said it because I couldn't even hear you.
for Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas.
So Christmas I had so Christmas Eve I went to Maryland or DC area,
Merlin.
came back on what was it, Thursday morning, went to work, got off work, drove to Kalamazoo, chilled there, drove to Detroit for a housewarming,
Mm-hmm.
came back to Kalamazoo Saturday morning, and then I got back on the road to Chicago Sunday. So I was gone for an extended period of time. I got to see Deontay, got the, what I'm saying, fellowship, all that good jazz. Even got him to take a shot.
Yeah. Fun times,
After
fun
asking
times.
10 times, they asked me like 50 times to get an Xbox, I can't even get a shot out of me.
I don't drink. I don't
Nah, I'm
drink.
just playing. I'm playing. But no, it was good though. To see all his family and stuff like that. It was a good time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good. I did kind of mostly the same outside of I hosted Christmas at my crib. So all the family came up here, and then I had to shoot down there for my sister's housewarming, where we met up with Jalen. And I played a bunch of games in between that. So as y'all know, I beat that Stellar Blade. I beat Silent Hill 2 recently, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit. And what else? What else would I do? I also I'm finishing up Spider-Man 2, and it was a game right before Silent Hill that I beat. I don't remember it now. Jeez. No, did I go? I think I went Stellar Blade and Silent Hill.
Indiana Jones.
Indiana freaking Jones. Jeez Louise. I beat Indiana Jones. Um, and that was also a really good one. I think we talked about it a little bit, but really, really great game. So, a few things that kind of is transpiring now. I'm trying to get to Space Marines too. I'm trying to go back to my backlog and beat all these games. I purchased Metaphor, which is too long. So I'm probably gonna play Space Marine 2 first. Then I'm gonna play I might cop Dragon Age, because I can continue with my save if I buy it on a PC, and it's pretty cheap on PC, like $35 right now. And then I'm gonna go to Astrobot. So after Spider-Man, it's 2, Space Marine 2. Then I'm gonna go to freaking Dragon Age, and then Astrobot. Maybe not Dragon Age, maybe Astrobot, then Dragon Age. But I'm trying to beat a bunch of games really quickly. And like I said, I've been having a blast with it. Having a great time just playing games, chilling. This is the month of recovery for me most of the time. I usually use this month to catch up on a bunch of games, chill, and not do much, which is kind of my reward for doing too much throughout the year. So I'm trying to beat a few more games. It's literally the first, so I only got like a day to try to beat Spider-Man. But once I beat that, that's pretty much it. So, and I'll probably have to just play through some other stuff as I go throughout the year. But then we got more stuff coming next year, so it's even worse. So it's just kind of like, geez, I got to figure out a way to beat this stuff, and I just ain't gonna have time for large games like Metaphor. So I'm gonna have to figure it out. But anyways, that's what my dilemma is. I'm literally trying to find time to beat games. But outside of that, the family is good. They had a great Christmas. They really enjoyed themselves. The kids enjoyed themselves. My wife enjoyed herself. We had great food, great vibes. The housewarming was a blast. Like I said, we had a lot of fun down there with my sister. And we just got to see a lot of family. This is I'm pretty sure this is probably my favorite Christmas and like holidays break in a very long time, probably in like the last 10 years. This probably been my favorite one because of how much I was able to see everybody, and just how much I was able to spend time with everybody as well. Like it's my first time I think all my family came up here, like all my brothers and sisters at least. So it was really cool. And definitely something I want to repeat. So I think next year we're gonna be down at my sister's house chilling for the next Christmas. So good times for sure. But yeah, now that that's out the way, don't want to make the intro too long. Let's talk about some games, because as you know, what can I say? We love these games. First thing that I kind of want to talk about, because it's fresh in my mind right now, is Silent Hill 2. And this is kind of going to be a part of the whole looking back at the year games that came out. But Silent Hill 2 is fresh in my mind, so I'm going to start there. and I'm gonna let you guys gather your thoughts around what was some of the exciting things that happened in 2024 that you want to bring up. But Silent Hill 2 was one of those games for me. And I'm not going to be super negative, but I do want to say that the Silent Hill 2 remake is a little bit flawed to me. I really, really love the atmosphere. I really, really love the acting. I love the new character designs. I love the stage designs. It was really, really cool to be back in that experience and have that same feeling that I used to have when I played the first Silent Hill. And it was really, really great to see how much they captured a lot of the same essence, especially when I went back to watch some of the original Silent Hill 2 and kind of starting to see all the Easter eggs. I really started to make a lot of sense to me. But as I went through that story, there was a few things that stood out to me that maybe I was either overthinking it or I just remembered it wrong. But when I went back, it did feel like it was a little bit different. The first time I saw the Pyramid Head, I don't know. I just didn't feel like the same scariness. Like the boss fight was a little bit off to me. And then I realized we were fighting him in like a stairwell the first time. And the first time we really was like, the camera angles made everything claustrophobic. The change to how we play games made that game feel different, if that makes sense. Resident Evil 2, yeah. I would feel the same way about if I ever played the original Resident Evil 2. I love Resident Evil 2 Remake because I never played Resident Evil. Resident Evil 4 is always going to be true to Resident Evil 4 because that's how it's always meant to be played. But the Resident Evil 2 Remake probably is a little bit different for the people that played the original Resident Evil 2. So with the fixed camera angles. So it did lose a little bit of its intensity because by the second location that I was running through, I literally didn't stop running. Me being scared was no longer there. I knew all the enemies' moves. I knew how to bait them into do what I want. I barely lost health. I was running that game like it was nobody's business, basically. And I wasn't scared anymore. I was just more so like, oh, this is longer than I remember. And then I looked at how long it was. And absolutely it was longer than I remember. Because I was like, I know I beat this game like 7 hours, 8 hours. And we wasn't playing it that long. We were just scared the whole time. It was like 14, 15 hours this time around. And I was not scared for like, I don't know, probably like after the first 4 hours, I was like, yeah, this is everything I've seen already. I've seen everything. I'm not worried about something jumping out on me because by the time I notice it, I'm dodging, I'm out the way, I'm already on already on your head top. I was way too lethal. So the difficulty plus me being like tired of the elongated puzzles and how it felt like it was just I was doing the same thing over and over again. I do the first part, and I go into the underworld, and then I do it again. I go into the underworld. I'm not trying to be super negative because I still loved it, but if they would have shortened it and created that intensity, I probably would have replayed it to get all the endings. I just watched all the endings. I just felt like I wasn't really ready to commit that many times to that game where the intensity didn't feel strong enough and I didn't feel like I was scared anymore. It lost a lot of that appeal halfway through. So I will say that it is flawed. I still loved it, and they did the best they possibly could do with that game in the way that the dialogue actually made sense now. Like, I never understood the concept of Silent Hill 2 and what was going on, but I understood it throughout the entire time I was watching it at that point. So it just felt like I remember feelings, I remember presence, I remember how long something is. I do not remember storylines. I do not remember characters. So that was like something that I was re-watching again. And then when I went back to understand it more, it felt like, oh, they did make this make more sense, because honestly, it didn't make sense before. I was just running around doing stuff. Um, so what I would say about Silent Hill 2 is that even though it may not live up to the expectations of someone that probably have played it, it's a great way to introduce yourself to that game and the story without feeling like you just wasting a lot of your time. Because regardless of what it is, I think a little bit of tuning needs to happen to the difficulty, or at least to the scarcity of weapons, or bullets. Because I just felt like I was always prepared for whatever. I never felt like I was
Yeah.
only for the first like 2-3 hours. I was like, oh, I don't have enough. This is scarcity out here. I need to conserve. And then after a while, I started to realize I'm popping everybody with 3 shots, and I'm two tapping the ones that I can fight easily, and the ones that might give me a little trouble. I know how many bullets I got to do to damage it, and I got enough in the chamber, so I'm good. So those types of things where you really start to have, there needs to be another additional mix up to kind of create some moments where you're generally either genuinely scared or nervous about going around a corner. I just wasn't anymore. I'm busting through all windows, all the little creepy sound they make. I'm like, whatever, bro. I know what y'all finna do. Y'all not finna do anything that deviates from what I think y'all gonna do, and they never did. So, and that's the unfortunate part. So, but yeah, you had something to say, Josh?
No, I was gonna say I heard people liked it, but the balance of the items and ammo and stuff like that was something I heard people complain about. Whereas the original is survival horror, limited ammo, limited resources. But people were saying with the remake, where it's like, yeah, you get to a certain point in the game, you just basically got infinite ammo because you're not gonna ever run out. Especially if you just trying to play well. Whereas if like, yeah, if you wasting everything, then maybe, but you have to try really hard to use all your ammo.
Yeah, you really do. Like, I never once, I wasn't even pulling out my shotgun most of the time. I was just using my pistol. I always had some stock in my shotgun. So it was never like a moment where I felt like it was like, I ain't got enough. There was only one intense moment where I was running around. And like I said, I don't want to give everything away because I still think it's worth playing. I just think that I was expecting that level of intensity to move throughout. I was giddy when I first talked to you about it because I was like, this is intense. And then after a while, I started to realize their tricks. So, that's where the intensity started to die off. I don't think it was a bad game. I don't think that the puzzles weren't fun. They were interesting. I just knew that I was going to have to do two things over and over again. And I wanted a little bit of variety when it came to different areas and what we was going to be doing in those areas, which never changed. It was kind of, unfortunately, you seen it once, you seen it twice type of situation. When you've seen it twice, you've seen it all in every variation that they could possibly do, just maybe a different type of piece of puzzle. So, overall, though, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I feel like the soundscape was still enjoyable, even though I wasn't scared anymore. I didn't play it in the dark, so I was still nervous about playing in the dark. So it wasn't like the intensity wasn't there. I just was like, I'm just going to keep running through everything because I knew that there was nothing that was going to really be scaring me after a certain point. But it's really, really, really solid game. Really recreated the feeling of it in a great way for for the most part. I think that them tuning the scarcity of items might make that game even more intense throughout the entire time. But the dodge they give you, man, is it powerful. You can stop. You know how you used to, how you got to commit to a fight or a hit. You ain't got to commit in there. You got the timing of like an action RP, like real action game. So like even if you decide to swing and you see it coming, oh, you dodge step out of that mug, or you dodge step while they trying to swing you. You got invincible
Yeah,
what they call
invincibility
it?
frame. Yeah,
Invincibility frames.
iframes.
Yeah, so you literally they can still like swipe through your body, but because you dodged in that motion, you got those invincibility frames. So I was cooking. I was out there playing Dark Souls because it wasn't like it was easy because when you're fighting one thing and their movement, it's so easy to start to get accustomed to it. I think what Blooper should have done is adjusted for that as well. That we are players that have been trained with a little bit more of a we're more responsive in our abilities when it comes to those types of games because Elden Ring is super popular. So they have to kind of be accustomed, understanding of that, and kind of breaking up the monotony. So unfortunately, that didn't occur. But overall, though, they had some really cool, interesting enemies to fight, and there was a lot of some situations where it can be a little overwhelming too. But I think I died like twice in that whole game. So, but yeah, overall though, I still recommend. And that's why I gave it a 7 out of 10 because to no fault to Blooper, I think that they had recreated that world in a great way, and they used all the new technology to make sure it worked well. So, played on the PS5 Pro, 60 FPS, looked decent. Without the PSSR, they was able to patch that out. It looked good. I had a blast, so check it out. But yeah, I'm a pass it to one of y'all. Hopefully y'all got something y'all want to talk about for 2024 that have occurred. And then we can kind of keep pinging back and forth from there. Or if you got a list, whatever you want to do. But talk to me about the 2024 experience and something y'all enjoyed that came out of it, regardless if it's a game or not.
Yeah, so I guess 2024 I played a lot of games, but the ones that I guess I spent the most time on were not actually my favorite. Like I'll talk about Final Fantasy and Dragon's Dogma and stuff like that. I mean, but overall it was still a really good year. I don't know if we talked about our end of year breakdown. Like it don't matter. If Jalen won, he was putting up all the numbers. Multiverses apparently.
Yeah, Multiverse is his favorite for sure.
Nah.
But I don't know, as far as games, I feel like I mostly spent this year working on my backlog, or playing games that got updates from last year, because I think we've entered into a really good space as far as video games where the new games that are coming out are typically pretty good, pretty high quality, but also the last few years have also been really good. So you can, even if you plan 2023, 2022 games, it's some bangers in 2022 and 2023 as well. But anyways, yeah, for me, I didn't buy many games this year. I wanted to make sure I went back and played as many games that I spent money on and get my value out of them. The most time I spent on the game was probably Elden Ring, just because that DLC was so good, and it's kind of unexpected to see a DLC that makes me want to go back to a game that I actually like finished over 2 years ago. But it was refreshing. It was fun. It was still difficult. So I really appreciated that about Elden Ring. And I think most of the games I've gone back to in my backlog have been pretty good experiences and worth it. And so I'm starting to feel less of the, I guess, new game FOMO, especially with new games like being super expensive. I kind of rather would just wait, like 6-7 months when I have time to play it, and it's going to be on sale regardless. Yeah, so nothing to highlight yet. I know Jalen got some stuff to say about multiverses. If you want to discuss your year in review, Jalen.
Nah, I mean, clearly I haven't been playing the most amount of games. I kind of play them in spurts. I mean, since y'all said something about multiverse, I can go there. I will say I was enjoying multiverses a lot more when it first came out. It's just one of the games, like, I keep harping on this. We ain't got time. You hit ready up with your boy. They put you in a match in 2 seconds. They don't care if you're going to fight the same Samurai Jack 7 times in a row. They going to put you in that match, bro. So, it got to a point where we're like, all right, let me block him real quick just so I'll see him. And I still seen him. He got couldn't get rid of him. We both blocked him, still seen him. So the Corey the game don't care. But some of the patches they did in the game, want the biggest fan of it, you can actually block in the game now. So so that kind of changed up the tempo. But
you can block
just
now?
play the game. Yeah, you can actually block in the game, bro. It's a little annoying now. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I done got used to not blocking. But people be blocking the stuff you can guard break if you knock all they block metered out and stuff like that, and they still blocking. But anyhow, the game then got a little bit worse. We seen the numbers in the game. I mean, I don't know how much longer the game got. But yeah, so I mean that was probably the biggest highlight of the year as far as like what a game I've been playing, because y'all know I done clocked all them hours on multiverses on there. Other than that, I mean, I think a game that I really been enjoying. I know I was gonna enjoy it, but it's like I didn't put 30 hours into it. I mean, the game been out for a little bit of time with Metaphor, so that's what's gonna occupy my time walking into the next year. Then we're gonna see what other bangers they come out and try to maybe I spend some money on a game, man. And I think the biggest purchase, the highlight, was when I bought Sonic and Metaphor in the same day. 2 games in one day. Not one, but 2. Say it with me now. Repeat after me. I bought 2 games. I said, man, I can't believe I'm buying 2 games in one day, but I'm going to beat both of these games. And I'm playing them. Look at that. Like excellence, boy. But nah, that's pretty much it, though.
Yeah, 2024 has been very straightforward in your approach to the video games. Well, I think a lot of my 2024 wrapped with like in December, but some of the key games that I remember playing or really stood out to me this year was Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Another game that really stood out to me was Persona 3 Reloaded. Like really, like where I would kind of still like go back and think about it or play it again. Like I've definitely played a little bit more Prince Persia to kind of go do some of the optional stuff. And then there's those games, like I said, Silent Hill, Stellar Blade, and those types of games. Like the one I've enjoyed the most as of now, I ain't gonna lie, is Spider-Man 2. It's simply because of how big the budget is, and you got ray tracing all around. You zipping through a town. You having fun being Spider-Man, man. It's just what it is. So, regardless of how I feel about Spider-Man 2 being similar to Spider-Man 1, they still are telling a great story, and they're doing it in a fantastic, over the top type of way. So it really is still the fun that I'm having in that game, because I've been on it for like 6 hours, and that type of game has a lot of variety in it, where to the point where you don't feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. And I know that it's just going to be short and sweet to the point, and that's a lot of, I get a lot of enjoyment out of those types of experiences today versus when I used to. So anyways, having a lot of fun with that. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, you used to be the multiplayer guy. Was there anything? Because I know Jalen playing multiverses. Was there any multiplayer game you was on this year?
No, honestly, I just don't have I don't have a capacity for them anymore. I suppose I do a lot more than I used to when I used to like those games. It used to be where I would have time. If I didn't have time to play with y'all, I'd jump on a match for myself and just play a game and try to get better at it or whatever. But honestly, I'm looking more so for experiences now that I can like sit down. And a lot of that got killed when I had the kids. Like, ain't no point in me trying to play a live action game where I can't pause it with a family and 2 twin boys. Like, man, that ain't gonna happen no more. So that kind of killed that off. But one game that even though I'm like, I don't play them, I like to see new good multiplayer games come out. And one of them that has like, I wouldn't say caught my eye, but at least it's seems as if they're doing uh I guess good things is still Halo Infinite. I feel like they are still updating that game, and it seems to be it seems to be enjoyable. Like they're doing things that make it more fun. They have new modes in there that I wanted to check out. So if I was gonna play anything multiplayer on my own, it'll probably be that. At this point in time, anyway, because I do like the movement. I like the gameplay, gunplay in Halo. And they do have like fun little weird modes that I can just jump into and try out and not have to commit so much to. So that's the one that I would say I've been seeing, and I was like, man, if I had some time, I'd play that. So that'd be the one. But yeah, 2024 has been the year of a lot of big games, a lot of good anime, like and all types of stuff. But I guess what I wanted to do is kind of go down a list of mine of the best per se. And I'm trying to see if I even played any of these. Obviously, I don't think I played many. Um,
Of games that you
like
wanted to spend more time on.
yeah, wanted to spend more
Uh,
time on or give a shot. Black Myth Wukong.
yeah.
Obviously, I want to play it to just try it, but I don't want to play it in a bad experience. So I don't know. I think it still has stuttering problems. I think it still has problems on the PlayStation. I think it still has. So I don't even know when this game is going to actually be in a viable state for me to try it. I think that the PlayStation did just get an update for it to be in a better space or be in a better place with the 40 FPS mode if you're playing on balance. That's like the best way to play it now. But I don't know if it has. I think at least the PlayStation doesn't have stutter or traversal stutter, but I know PC does. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to play this game at this point. And it's probably gonna be on a discount, probably half the cost. So that's when I'll play it. But these are games that for me I didn't pick up, but I'm definitely going to be playing soon or trying to play. Um and if you don't know what Black Myth Wukong is, you're kind of crazy. But it's basically a action it's a action adventure game similar to, I would say now more God of War than anything. But people have claimed that it's a Souls like. But I probably would think it'd probably be more on the lines of God of War with RPG elements. So that type of game there is simply you're running around as I don't even know what they call it. Is it a Chinese it's not a Chinese god, is it? What is like it's the based off the Journey to the West, right? But I don't really
Yeah,
remember like the whole
it's based on
mythology.
Chinese mythology.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know if Wukong a god or a spirit or whatever, but it is based on Chinese mythology, and you fight like Chinese gods and stuff like that. So
Hmm. Like I said, it looks fun, and I'm gonna give it a shot. I just don't know when. Another weird one, and it's on sale right now, which I might try to check it out. Another Crab's Treasure. Did y'all see this game?
Man, let's keep playing that game, bro.
Why you ain't playing it? You ain't gave it a
crab
shot?
treasure.
Yeah, another
Uh,
Crab's Treasure.
yeah, I was. He said it was like a Dark Souls type game, but I
Yeah,
wasn't. I
Oh, I
wasn't
seen
gonna
that
play it.
game. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna play it.
Um,
But he said he liked it though, so that's cool.
well,
And he
I was
said
going.
he said good stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, this game came out in April 25th. So it's another one of those games that it came on my radar due to I don't know if I was watching somebody. I was watching Mortismo's gaming channel. He's talking about his favorite games of the year. So that came on my radar as well. Another Crab's Treasure is it's basically a Souls like, but you're a crab and you're trying to get your shell back. Um, and that's it. But it seems as if for some reason this one has captivated a lot of people's time and people are enjoying it. So I wanted to give it a shot.
That'd be Souls.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Krabby Souls. What else? What else? What else? What else? Uh, I don't know if I really want to give my time to the Dead Rising Deluxe remaster, but it did come out, and I did love that game before. Did y'all like Dead Rising, or did y'all play it?
Nope.
Oh my god! What about you, Jalen? Did you play Dead Rising?
Nah, I ain't played them games. Didn't you just have to? Never mind. I ain't played them games. I was gonna say something.
Oh my god!
I ain't feel like running zombies over with a lawnmower and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, well, it was an
Even Just
arcadey
Cause.
type zombie killer, and it was actually pretty fun, guys. Guys, like you guys don't have
Ain't
fun.
that game similar to like a Just Cause?
Technically, no. It's like you're talking about open world. It's an open map type situation where you're in a mall and you're just running around trying to survive and help people get out. So, and it's like it's like time based, so you only have a certain amount of time to do certain things. So it's always had that like arcadey style on top of zombie killing. So
I just felt like it was one of them games, like you said, it's arcade. You just doing crazy stuff and killing zombies in all these different fashions. And I haven't seen Just Cause, but that's why I was asking, because Just Cause just seemed like, you do a lot. It ain't arcadey, but it's like you just like doing stuff like Just Cause.
Yeah. Dead Rising is arcadey, but it's also an escort quest where you got to keep NPCs alive or they die permanently and stuff like that. So it and the first game at least has like a clock to it, right? Or a time element.
Yeah.
So
right.
it's a lot going on. I think as those mechanics I like individually, but together I just thought I didn't want to do it all at once. And I know that the series has been going through a bunch of changes and they keep removing stuff like the time and the escort quests and stuff like that. But I think I would like the Rising one. I saw the remaster. Personally, I didn't want to get the remaster because I didn't like the art style.
The look
I
of it
think
now.
yeah, I think some people said like you get used to it and it's not that bad. But yeah, when I looked at the old like what's his name, Frank West, and like see him also in like Marvel vs. Capcom versus like the new one, he looks very different. And it doesn't look bad, I guess, but I was just a little turned off by it.
Okay. For me, I think it's still on one of those lists that I'm gonna definitely buy it on Steam and add it to my catalog. I think I have the original one, but just to play through it again with the remaster, seeing it with the new. I think it had new navigation system. I think it had auto saving. I think it added in a few NPCs. I think that's what kind of occurred with it. So it's just a few things like that that I feel like I would want to give it another shot on, or at least try it out. So it's gonna be probably deep sale for me on that one. Josh, when you gonna finally get Diablo? Because they had Vessel of Hatred come out this year and still ain't played it. I beat Diablo 4, which was fun. I'm surprised I beat that this year, but it was pretty fun. After I got around to playing it. Any chance of you hopping on Diablo anytime soon?
I don't know, because since I've been playing Wayfinder, I've been thinking about more about action RPGs or like loot games like that. And it's on my list. I don't know if I'm gonna get there first or if I'm gonna get the Path of Exile first. I don't know. But yeah, Diablo is one of those series that I enjoy and I want to spend more time with it. Just many factors where it's like I mean it's on Game Pass, but or you could buy it as well. And then also it's a live service game with season pass and stuff to think about to stay up to date and stuff like that. So I just put it in the back of my mind just because like I had so many other games ahead of it. But I think I still want to play it. It was fun when we played it in the beta. So I actually want to do the full experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm a little bit more. And I think Path of Exile also has it. Maybe they don't. I know they have season passes. I think, right? Doesn't Path of Exile have it? But it's because it's in early access.
I don't know if it has it yet,
Yeah.
but it might eventually.
Yeah, I think with the early access portion of it, I feel like I can play it, have my fun, and get off of it. Because honestly, those are time commitments that I just don't have it. So I would literally be waiting for deep discounts for me to play these games because literally I'm only going to be playing it for my enjoyment of the story or the like what I have to do until I get to that part. And I maybe play a little bit of in game, but I would not be playing it to the point where this is where it makes sense to own it. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of those things
Mhm.
where I find deep sales. And good thing for Diablo is that they keep putting out like I don't know how strong the character. I know the character was strong. I don't know how good the story expansion was. So I think they have to hit that mark for both. And I think Vessel of Hatred kind of fell off because I heard that the story wasn't as great, and that's where it became one of those things where I was going to wait on it. Because I heard that the character was good, but the story was not. I'm like, I'm not interested in playing another character or that. I'm looking for to expand on that story that I liked so much in the first one. So that's where
Yeah.
it became one of those. I'll wait for it. And I know Path of Exile. Yeah, everybody doesn't like the stories there or whatever. I was reading something about the story is okay, not the greatest, but I want to give those games a shot as well. So I might end up purchasing that with the early access of the 30. So, and I know those games usually are
Yeah.
free, right, Josh? Path of Exile games are free normally.
Yeah, the first one was free, just maybe like season pass and microtransactions.
Yep.
The second game is in early access now, but I think it's gonna also launch free. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long that's gonna be. As far as yeah, I agree on both those games, and I just yeah, live service games took a hit for me this year because there are
Yeah.
actually a lot that I wanted to play. Like one, I know we played it at the beginning of the year, and it was really fun, but Helldivers 2.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
wish that I had more time on the game, especially
yeah.
since they announced like the update recently at the Game Awards.
Yep.
I haven't had time to play it, and it's realistically just like, well, it's a multiplayer game, so I want to play with my friends, and I can play it by myself, but you got to deal with randos. But another thing is that if you want to play optimally and like do the hardest content, like those matches are long, like 40 minutes of like
Mm-hmm.
nonstop play. Like you don't get a break, you can't pause, we can't. Oh, protect me. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Like you got to keep playing
Yep.
40 minutes straight, undivided attention. And I wish I had, I guess, that type of gaming time still. But unfortunately, I don't know when, unless I just got like a vacation and I'm by myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm really be able to play a game like that anymore. But it was really fun, and I like that game and the gameplay and like how real I guess not pointlessly realistic the physics were, but the
Yeah.
physics were so uh, you know realistic that it made it always felt dynamic. Like I
Yeah.
wasn't getting bored of fighting the bugs because they could just knock me over and I roll down the mountain and now I'm in a whole bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
uh so
Yeah.
yeah, that was a very fun game that I wish I had more time on. I Earlier in the year I would have said Overwatch, but I don't know if we even still care about Overwatch. Like Jalen ain't asked to play it in a minute. And
Nah,
I've been
man.
playing Marvel Rivals, and that's been pretty fun for me. But yeah, just I guess that multiplayer space for me has been mostly missing in 2024.
Yeah.
And I'll say I do want a little bit more. So instead of next year where it's like no multiplayer game that I play, maybe just one that I can just hop on weekly or so like that. I don't need a whole bunch of them like we used to do.
Nah, yeah, I feel like there had to be we were waiting I was waiting for something to rise to the top and honestly, I think that there is just a lack of interest in those types of games from us in general now. Like there is times where I miss like the ability to play something that we all can be semi good at and have some coordination in. Um, but it just feels like most of the time, a lot of our choices are what we're trying to play. doesn't really fit into what we are excited to play on the daily anyway. So it is tough. I ain't gonna lie. It's tough to kind of find a balance there that will allow for everybody to have an enjoyment within it, um, and not feel like we're just wasting time. And that's I don't know. Maybe that's just how I think now. And I'm not saying that I'm wasting the time. I just feel like there is like just more of an interest in something else. That's not a waste, you know. It's not a waste to me. It's just more of I might have more interest in doing something else or playing something else with that time because I don't have that much time, and that the thing that we're playing may not, and nothing else will come from me running that match. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that might
Yeah.
be something that's causing a little bit of a nonchalant approach to those types of games. And I think that Helldivers 2 did a decent amount to kind of mitigate that with the feeling of, you know, kind of getting unlockables. And as you play through it, you're still all on your own journey, but you're progressing together, you know. I think that's a good way to think about it too. So definitely was Helldivers was probably should have been the one that we gravitated to the most and would probably have been the easiest to continuously jump on. Um, so I don't know why we fell off that one, to be honest. But that was definitely my favorite multiplayer game I've played this year. Still.
I mean, I mean, realistically, that game is like Josh said. The matches take a lot of time, and then how long it take for you to level up and just get certain things you're looking for. I mean, it's not the
Yeah,
kindest.
we got to play high difficulty matches, which are intense and take a long time.
Yeah.
And then a level up system after doing all that, you all right, what did I get out of this?
Yeah.
Get a little something, you know, you don't get a whole lot, but you get a little, you just like, so I got to do this again.
Yeah.
You like, all right, bro, I ain't even got two in me, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it's striking a balance, I guess, there. And I think when I'm playing those ones where there's no unlockables, there's nothing progressing me. I think that's why Call of Duty kind of stay on top because they have some progression for you regardless of what you're doing. To kind of keep going prestige wise, you unlocking weapons, you unlocking new tacticals, you can switch up your stuff. Where you playing like Overwatch or something, you're just perfecting your abilities on that game, and it's nothing else that's super dynamic that's making it super interesting, but outside of literally the gameplay. So I think that there's a striking balance there. I think the gameplay still wins in Helldivers 2. That's probably why most people play it. It's not because they're unlocking stuff. Same thing that goes for Overwatch, or I'm sorry, same thing goes for Call of Duty. That the gameplay is what's really selling them. The unlockables are a good add-on to keep changing up your dynamic of what the game is, but the gameplay is what's winning the day. So, yeah, I think it has some good stuff there. But I wanted to talk to you about Dragon's Dogma 2. Is it now the time to buy? Is it at the price that it's at? I think it's like at $35 right now. Do you think it's worth it? Or do you think that this is still just a clunky game that needs a little bit more time?
I think the price is good. Like I think the game is a very fun game. It's just it's hard to explain because it's like kind of those Elden Ring games. Like let's say you give Elden Ring to somebody who's never played it and they play for 10 hours. They might not like those first 10 hours. Like why? Because you're gonna die a bunch. It's gonna be confusing. There's no helpful map or NPCs or any tutorials and stuff like that to help. So that experience can be frustrating, and it just depending on the type of person you are, you might get over that quickly. It's like, oh, it was very fun, like being in the dark, and now I actually fully understand it, so I can really put myself into it. Dragon's Dogma is very fun. Those first 10 hours or so, confusing. But once you get into it, it'll be a lot more fun. I'd say for me, the big issues start to come in the second half of the game, where like
Okay.
you learned all the mechanics, you unlocked so many abilities, and then it feels like there are some things that are not fully cooked or missing. Right?
Okay.
Like I think, for example, the character classes are very fun. Like there's a basically there's a Jedi class that you can get. You can teleport, you can pull people towards you, you can do a whole bunch of Devil May Cry moves, and that class was very fun. And it took a lot of time to level it up. And once it's fully leveled up, it literally breaks everything in the game. There's nothing that can keep up with you. But most of the classes are like that. Like at the beginning, they're super weak and it take a long time to kill enemies. But then you level them up, nothing can keep up with you. But you have to fight them because there's no fast travel. When you want to go, all the story quests or side quests are going to literally make you walk to the other side of the world like multiple times and back to do anything. Like you know, the main quest is like, okay, you helped us out here. We need you to go 20 miles to the north to the next town. All right, and you go there and you do the stuff that you need to do. And multiple things was like, okay, all the good shops are back in the other town. I got some side quests I need to turn in because I finished them along the way. There's no fast travel, so I got to walk all the way back. The enemies are going to pop up. They got a lot of health. They're not going to kill me, but they got a lot of health. But they're going to be annoying because I can't outrun them. There's no horse or anything. I can try to pay for like a caravan, which, you know, the NPC will drive you around. And that maybe you can skip a lot of the fights, but that's also kind of random because like you can say, go to sleep while you on the caravan, and if you don't run into any battles, you'll pop up into the next town, kind of like a fast travel. But the problem is that if you actually do run into any enemies in front of the caravan, it will kick you out the caravan. You have to fight them, and they can destroy the caravan. So like your fast travel option is now destroyed. So you got to walk the rest of the way. So I think all those things on their own are okay, and they made a intense experience. I would say by the end of the day, they didn't justify themselves. Like I think no fast travel for the first half, good idea. Once I'm 90 hours into the game and I literally got to teleport all over the world, that becomes an issue. Especially, I guess I'm gonna kind of spoil it. It's depending on the ending path that you do. There's a post game to where the world gets messed up. You're basically a whole bunch of stuff in the world gets reset, and you got to do like a Breath of the Wild Zelda thing where you got to go to the 4 areas on the map and fight like a giant boss, kind of like a I forgot what they were calling in Breath of the Wild, but like that should be a cool idea. It's like, okay, the world is messed up. Now I got to go around, fight these giant bosses, and like fix the world. Except it's all the same issues. You can't fast travel. All the enemies are now twice as strong. So maybe they can kill you now, but now they're more annoying because you can't skip them. So yeah, all the same issues, but it should be like, this should be not like a victory lap where it should be easy, but this should be the most fun part of the climax of the game. But instead, all I can think about all these are annoying things. So at the end of the day, I had a lot of fun with it. And I think you will have a lot of fun with it, but I think there will be a point in the game where it's like, okay, well, do I want to keep continuing or am I happy to stop here? And I think that's just going to depend on the individual. For me, I wanted to finish it and it was okay by the end of the day, but I just like the first game more because I felt like it had that good justification waiting for me at the end that made the struggle worthwhile. Whereas I don't think Dragon's Dogma 2 had that. So, anyways, I know I just dogged on the game a bunch, but if it was on sale, play it, feel the classes. It's very cool upgrade system. You can bring some abilities from one class to another, so you can do some cool combinations. So it's a very fun game. It's a Capcom game, so it's hard to say that you will actually go wrong with the Capcom game. I just think that, yeah, it has a lot of issues for a 100-hour game that it is.
Gotcha. Okay. What about I was gonna ask about this, but I might save it because I don't even know if you played it. I mean, we had a bunch of different games come out, a few HD collection stuff. but I'm trying to find the one that I mean, because we're talking Persona 3, we're talking Prince of Persia, we're talking Hellblade 2 came out, Shin Megami Tensei, um, and then there is other stuff that may not been as great, but I didn't hear too much about it. Like the Final Fantasy of the world, the Final Fantasy 14, the new one, Dawn Trail. Did you get a chance to check any of this stuff out for Dawn Trail?
Uh, no, because Final Fantasy 14 is a also a unique experience because you got to pay for it monthly. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna pay for 1 month when I want to play it and play through as much content as I can. And I think
gotcha.
Dawn Trail, it was I might have actually bought it. I don't remember. But it wasn't the time for me to play it as far as like I got downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I didn't play it. It also had some I don't know if it was balance issues or stuff like that, but when it came out, people had a lot of stuff to complain about, and developers working to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just gonna wait and see for it to come out. But yeah, Dawn Trails because they usually do like a year or two of like updates. It's almost over. The next expansion is probably gonna be coming in the next year or so. So I
Yeah.
got to catch up on it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously I talked a little bit about Prince of Persia: Lost Crown. That one came out in January. Really solid game, 3D sky scroller with some really cool storyline to it and some really nice actions. I feel like that was one of those really cool Metrovanias that came out this year. We already talked about Persona 3 that also came out this year, which is another one of those another solid um game. And then we also had Hellblade. I did feel like this one came and went, but this came out in May. Hellblade 2 to me still is probably one of the best looking games that I've played so far on the Xbox, as well as even I would say even on PC. I don't think I've played a game that I felt like looked more real than Suana yet. But it does take a knock because it really was just a walking simulator with a little bit of gameplay. I felt like the gameplay was solid enough to be passable, but a lot of people did knock it for it not being a full-fledged game. Where's that sit now for you as you look back on that, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I never had an issue with it not being a walking simulator because I thought because I don't know how long they worked on the game, a couple years, and so people had expectations that it was going to be very different.
Mm,
But they announced it ahead of time that hey, it's not going to be very different. Basically, the same thing, just better graphics.
mm,
So I enjoyed it a lot. Is like you said, a very beautiful game. Well, no, it's a very horrible and ugly game, but the graphics are very beautiful. And so the world felt fully realized as a horrible place, like you live in hell, that I would never want to visit. But I really enjoyed the experience and seeing what the developers built in that world. And I think if I'll put it, I didn't like the story as much as the first one, but I feel like it brought enough to the table that I felt satisfied by the end of it.
mm-hmm.
And I think that if the developer I hope they do something else either in this world or with this technology, because I would love to just see maybe just a straight up survival horror game, like maybe I guess it's about the same length as Senua, but like
Mm-hmm.
build a survival horror game with the tools that you have because you already create a whole bunch of creepy experiences. Like like the best scene, one of the best scenes in that game for me is like the fire village where, and then you go into the cave where it's
Mm-hmm.
like you can't really see, but there's fire lighting up, and then there's like they're doing a bunch of creative stuff with lighting that makes
Yeah.
it feel creepy and makes the vibe feel intense, and like take that and put it into a traditional game, I would say, where you could give players a lot of time and experience to fully explore what you built. I think that will personally be what I want from them next. But what they made with Hellblade 2, super memorable, super well made, and yeah, it was a great experience overall.
Good. Definitely the same for me. I felt like I had a great experience on it. There's other games that that have come out that like Space Marine 2. I am definitely going to pick that up. I'm trying that out here soon. And then for some reason I've been wanting to play a wrestling game, and I heard WWE has been pretty good over the last couple of years. So I might. I think it's really cheap right now, to be honest. Um, I might play it. Might play a little bit of it just to try it out because I don't remember. I don't know. Have y'all played any of the old WWE games or ever played them?
Yeah, I played
No,
some when I was younger, like SmackDown versus Raw and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know that Netflix just bought Raw, so they don't have that every like. I forget what they got a partnership now where they can stream Raw like every I forget what night it come on, which is kind of a big deal for the wrestling entertainment company community anyway. But yeah, I mean I've never played one. I haven't played one in a very long time. But I know that wrestling had a little bit of a surge when The Rock went back, and it just had me interested in trying out one of their games for a very, very cheap price, $10 or less. But it's a way for me to kind of get back into the spirit of my old youth of playing these games. I remember playing the SmackDown ones for sure. I remember it just being a blue box. I remember playing with The Rock most of the time. But they have said that these have gotten better over the last 3 years consistently, which is surprising because it's coming from 2K. But yeah, WWE is on the radar as well. Zenless Zones here 0. Josh got us to play it. Talk to me, Jalen. Would you play it again?
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't that much depth to the game. I mean, I guess if they make some good expansions and improvements, not saying that they haven't already did. I just remember playing a game a little bit. It's kind of corny and it just didn't really catch my interest that much. I didn't even get to the panda dude, so felt very, very repetitive.
Okay.
So, but I mean, like I said, if they do something to it, maybe I go ahead and try it. It just gave real, I don't know if it's weeb or otaku type vibes with the anime characters. Like, I don't like when they always make the dude goofy because I feel like the game is just focused on anime girls anyway. So I just like,
all right, GG's.
100%. Yeah.
So it was. Let's say it wasn't our cup of tea. I mean, I thought it was fine for what it was meant to be, a mobile game. I didn't think it was a game that meant to be on my PC, so I just deleted it. So I think a mobile game experience probably be fine.
Mobile game wise, I mean, it's clearly what it was for. I just,
Okay, so I say it's a solid win for the mobile experience. I wouldn't say that. Again, I probably wouldn't play it outside of that, and I think that I played it enough. I ain't played it enough to judge it, to be honest. All I can say is that it's not for me. That's what I'll say. But yeah, another game that came out July 4th. That came out in this year that made quite a bit of waves. Especially when it came to that community. People really liked it. Give us some of the positives about this one, Josh.
So I guess I'm lucky iPhone doesn't track game time. That's probably the game I played the most out of this year. Probably by like 4 or 5 times as much as the next game. Because it is a mobile game and like the time that it takes up, like while I'm on the train or waiting at Starbucks or stuff like that accumulates over time, but it's not tracked. So that's how they get around it. It's enjoyable. So like Jalen said, it felt very shallow at the beginning, and I agree. But it's two things going on where it is a mobile game, and so the gameplay, like the literal character moves and combos and stuff that you can do, and you got your team, you can switch in and out. It's probably the best like combat system built that you can get on like a mobile game, unless it's like a port of like Devil May Cry 3 or something like that. It's probably the best mobile combat you can get. The issue is it's a mobile game. You can't do long Devil May Cry boss fights on it on your phone, and also be a live service game where you got to do this every day. So the game is very uh, small in scale, and it's very repetitive where you're gonna go in,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna fight a couple enemies, you're gonna fight a stronger enemy, and then get out because you got to get in and out of a level in like 5 minutes because this is a mobile game, right? So I'd say I enjoyed it a lot. I like the character like abilities, and the new characters that they add always make the combat more fun and dynamic, and the character abilities that they have are very cool. But also it's a mobile game, so I'm fighting the same enemies that I've been fighting for the last couple months. They're not very strong or interesting. They just got a lot of health, and I got to beat it in a certain time. They've done updates to the game, and they've changed a lot of stuff. Where it's like I think the first part of the story was kind of I didn't like the TV mode and moving around like in the puzzle space. They removed that, and then they made it more of a traditional action game, and then people complained about that, so they brought the TV mode back as a separate mode, and they added a battle tower where you can fight infinite number of enemies and stuff like that. So it's been growing and getting better over time, and I'll say like it's a fun game and a very fun mobile game. It is a gotcha, so you're gonna be trying to get the newest characters before they run out of time, and there's FOMO and stuff like that. So overall, I'd say it's okay. I'll put it. I'd say it's pretty fun, and I enjoyed it. I'm a little bit lukewarm on it right now, just because I didn't like the newest story expansion. And it's not even about the characters, because I don't care about the characters. But like their last game, let's say Star Rail, the first year story, it was okay, and but the end of it, I think it had a really strong ending. I was like, okay, that's cool. I want to see what happens next.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second year story, like the 2.0, I actually enjoyed it. It was actually very very good. And I'm not even that into anime characters and anime character tropes and stuff like that. So anyway, Star Rail did a good job on their second year story, so that was good. For Zenless Zone Zero, they just wrapped up, or they're wrapping up their 1.0 story, and I thought it was kind of nothing. Like it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really tie up a whole bunch of plot lines that have been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think the enemies or the conflict were that interesting. It was just more standard like anime stuff. Like watch any first season of any high school anime, whatever, and I feel like you can get the same experience. So that I'm a little disappointed on. Where I like the gameplay, don't really like the story, the characters or whatever. Like Jalen said, I think literally in the whole 6 months they only got two new male characters, and one of them had okay gameplay. The second one he kind of just didn't matter. So yeah, that's another thing where
Mm-hmm.
the character variety is probably super limited. But anyways, it's a fun game. A lot of people play, a lot of people spend money on it, and it's gonna be here to stay for the next couple years. I'm hoping that they can improve it, make the story better, continue to make the gameplay better. So best part I'll say about it is that the game is very different than what y'all played in the beginning. But
Mm-hmm.
is it enough yet? Probably not.
Okay. Okay. Um, well, I appreciate the update. Like I said, those types of games, where they make a splash, you want to give it a little the attention that it deserves. I think that a lot of the animation and like the character designs were pretty good, and what they tried to do, the presentation was solid. I think that when we started to peel back layers, I think we should probably again give it more time to kind of make that judgment than what it was when it first came out. I'm gonna go down this list because I want to move on to what we can expect from the new year. But we got games that came out This is a list from IGN of games that they review well: Animal Well, Astrobot, Balatro, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Destiny 2 Final Shape. We might want to. I'm definitely going to go back and play the final chapter of the Destiny saga. As we are the House of Wolves podcast. Dragon Age, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, Hades 2, Early Access, Helldivers 2, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Life is Strange Double Exposure, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. We got Metaphor, we got Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, Persona 3, Satisfactory, Sonic X Shadow Generations, popping out of that 9, Sons of Forest, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, Unicorn Overlord, V Rising, which it came out of its early access and got the full game on May 8th, World of Warcraft, The War Within, and then we have the 110 on their list, which is Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. With all of that being said, what would y'all give 2024 rating? Scale to 1 to 10.
I give it like a. I give it like a 8.75. No, I give it a 9. I give it a 9. Though. I give it a 9.
Okay. What about you?
I mean,
what about you, Josh?
I want to give it a 9, but I think I'm gonna have to give it a 8.5.
8.5. Okay. I'm feeling a little generous. It was dang near perfect. I didn't feel like I had a time where I didn't have a game come out. So I say 9.5. I don't like the whole aspect of how many people got laid off this year. But video game wise, of games coming out that we were anticipating, I feel like in like surprises and things like that, it was dang near perfect, man. There's plenty of games on this list that I'm genuinely interested in playing. That I haven't gotten around to. I even want to play Shoot. VR even had some hits. They had the Asgard's Wrath, and then they also had Batman Arkham Shadow. Like both of those games I want to play too. Not saying I'm gonna get around to them anytime soon, but for me to go down this list and pop out like at least 12 to 15 of them that I want to play, that's pretty big. There's only a few that I even skipped on here that I thought wasn't worth talking about. Like even Frostpunk 2 is something that people, I don't understand how Grand Blue snuck on here. Grand Blue Fantasy. I don't understand people like that game. I don't like that game. So I'm gonna keep crapping on it every time I can because I don't really like it. But people liked it. So cool. Like Grand Blue. I can't get my money back, but it's on this list as well. I even tried it out, but I think that there was plenty of games that at least came out, like even Path of the Goddess. I even talk about that one. That was one of those games that I tried out because it came on Game Pass, of course. And I thought that it was going to be good. The last, I can't say this word. Why can't I say the word? Epoch?
Tsunigami?
No, last Epoch or Epoch.
Yeah.
EPOCH. It's an action RPG. But another game that I had some interest in, but the list goes on. Basically, is what I'm trying to say, and I feel like that was significant enough for me to be like, cool, this year for gaming, and obviously Indiana Jones. I didn't even talk about that, but this year for gaming, everybody had some solid hits that I felt like was substantial to the point where I would go back and play them. So I say 9.5. Any reason on why you knocked it to the 8.5, or even any reason y'all want to give in regards to your score?
Yeah. I'll go real quick because I think that one, for me, I guess I was waiting for or hoping for one or two more games that I really, really love.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good games, but nothing like super personal for me. Like I don't know, I guess Elden Ring is like the closest thing, but like another big game like that. And I feel like also I knocked it a little bit because of the other games that I did play that I feel like were disappointing and that kind of brought it down, like
Oh,
Final Fantasy VII
yep.
and Dragon's Dogma, which Final Fantasy kind of, one of the biggest games of this year, left me disappointed. So I would say that that's still a mark on the year.
Yeah,
That
for sure.
nothing, I guess, surpassed it.
Yeah,
And Jalen didn't even finish it, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I
And
ain't.
we were talking about that game for probably years, like while we were waiting for it. But yeah, that was my reasoning behind it. But it's still a good year overall.
mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I
Um,
agree.
so I gave it a 9 because despite me not actually like, playing a lot of the games, I did cop a couple games this year though. So I mean like
Mm-hmm.
I think last year I probably didn't spend that much on games. So I guess it's like some sense of like relativity that's being applied. But I mean, between like, Helldivers, the Final Fantasy coming out, Metaphor, Sonic, a couple of the games, and there were some games that I did want to play. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm actually trying to beat all of Persona. Um, I did want to play Indiana Jones. I'm not gonna lie, Xbox fanboys in here. I mean, I did want to play Indiana Jones. So maybe I reactivate my Game Pass or whatever. But I think overall, compared to like a lot of the previous years, there was like a strong lineup of games that was coming out, and they were coming out at kind of like it it came out at a rate where if you was going through like really trying to play them and stuff like that, you can get through them. Like if we had more time, we could probably get through a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't any like, man, it ain't no games. So it don't feel like a drought. Between,
Yeah.
they had the Elden Ring DLC, like Metaphor came, like it was just Persona 3. I think it was a good time for a lot of people to find games that they enjoy. And it was like different genres and stuff on top of that too. So I gave it a 9. I mean, like Josh said, some of the games probably could have been like a little bit better. I know people talk about the Final Fantasy. I don't have any quarrels with the Final Fantasy for. I think the biggest thing is just the amount of time that you play 7, then 7 remake come out, but that came out in 2020. Now it's 2024, and then you got to recap and stuff like that. So it kind of mess up the consistency of where you understand everything that's going on with the game because they changed so much from 7. Anywho, but just overall, I mean, I gave it a 9. I mean, things could have been a little bit better if we'd have heard more news about like Nintendo, and they like switched to and stuff like that. I feel like that have made things slightly more better. Maybe if
Mm-hmm.
they came out a strong Pokemon title, but it's cool.
Yeah, I think that I think for every genre there was a solid game that came out that kind of rose to the top, regardless of what it was. Side scrollers for me was Prince of Persia, horror was Silent Hill, action games, action adventures, there were multitude, but the one that piqued my interest probably the most, and I still ain't played it, was Space Marine 2, which I'm definitely gonna write that wrong here shortly, but there's multiple games like that I really, it's a shooter, but it's kind of still action adventure technically. Um, and then there's like Indiana Jones. And then there was obviously games that were multiplayer based, like Helldivers. And even Multiverse is coming back this year. Didn't it come back this year, or am I tripping? Did it come back last year? No, it came back this year.
I
Uh,
think it was last year.
I don't know when that mug came out. I feel like it came back this year.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
It was
But
last year.
I think Josh was hating that game for a while. I don't think it's been just a year. I think it was like I think it was going on like a year and a half now. But
It
at
came
least
out on May 28th.
this year. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was this year as well. And then we had games that come out at the end of the year like Rivals making a big splash as well. Um, I'm almost. Am I tripping to say Power World came out this year too? So it was just like a big moments that kept occurring throughout the gaming industry that showcased that at least we had some momentum going in the right direction. Because I think Helldivers 2 and Power Worlds came out around the same time. Um, so yeah, it was just a bunch of stuff, man. It was like a lot of stuff in every genre. And there's plenty of games that I'm still trying to find time to play, and I got new games coming out soon, next year. And that's where I want to talk about now as we transition into what to expect from 2025. And again, unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time to kind of do all this stuff. I watched a few people's videos, but I'm going to just check out this 2025 list that IGN put up because they get paid to do it. So I'm assuming they have at least looked at a good expectation of what to do in 2025. So if it sounds samey, it's probably because I'm really legitimately just looking at what they're talking about here. Anywho's, let's get into some of the things that we can expect from the year of 2025. And the big one for me for Xbox right now is South of Midnight, which and Fable. That's pretty much it. But there's other things that obviously I'm leaving off because those are the two things that I'm super interested in next year is Fable and South of Midnight. But then there's games like I know Doom. I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm pretty sure it was coming out next year. Doom was coming out. And what else? There was one more. It was Doom. Why can't I think of another game?
From Xbox?
Yeah, it was from Xbox. Avowed. Shoot. I'm tripping. And everybody is saying Avowed is really good now. Which I'm like, when y'all change your mind? Because everybody was hating on it not too long ago. Now everybody's saying this the same thing over and over again. It's a concise and very to the point experience of a RPG, and the writing has very much so that nice Obsidian twist to it. So I'm like, how y'all go from hating on the game, talking about it look ugly, and I understand that they righted the ship on trying to make it better graphically, but like adding in, I think they added in like ray tracing or global illumination into the game for better lighting and things like that. But I don't think they changed much else. But yeah, now it's one of those highly anticipated games from a lot of people, which I didn't expect that. So between Avowed, Doom, South of Midnight, and Fable, I got plenty to play on the Xbox. I ain't gonna hold you. Now they put out Indiana Jones and I actually liked it. I'm looking forward to what they cooking up now. I ain't gonna hate on them like I used to. But there's the guy, what, 3 of those? No, they got Avowed and no, they don't own Obsidian. Sorry, they have just Doom, and then we have South of Midnight, which I'm forgetting who making that game now. Compulsion. Yeah, Compulsion is making that game, and then Fable, obviously from Playground. I don't know what to expect from Fable. That's probably the most it looks like they have the budget of the gods because they look like they can just spend whatever they want. It looks like to me. Like I feel like they started making that Fable game when God of War 2018 came out because they said, "What can we recreate like they did a God of War and just throw the budget at?" I honestly feel like that's the game that they decided to make after they saw God of War 2018. So I think that they just got the budget. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be good, but I feel like they got the budget to make whatever they want to make. And graphically, it looks pretty cool. So that's what I'm expecting to be the high hitters for them next year. It very much so aligns with what they were saying on here because I think they talk about South of Midnight. They talk about and they talk about Yeah, they pretty much talk about all of these outside of Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Call of Duty, which those are bound to be heavy hitters at some point for them anyway. Anything on the 2025 list from Xbox that y'all looking forward to outside of what I just talked about? Anything that I'm missing? Or what are your thoughts on those 4 games in general anyway?
Yeah, I think that for me, I want to see Fable. That's what I'm most excited about. Fable 2 was great, and if they can bring a world that big, just graphically looks better, has
Yeah.
a better story, and very fun gameplay, I'll be very happy with it. And I think that Xbox, they're trying to reach like a quality control of, like, I guess, Indiana Jones. If they can reach that with their other series, that'd be amazing. But we gotta wait and see. I want to see more of Fable because, like, we've seen it, but not enough.
Yeah.
And then Avowed, I'm I'm already into it. I'm trying to, I guess, stay away from having too much expectations of it because it's
Okay.
not uh because it is Obsidian, but it's not a Bethesda game. It's not like other stuff. I want it to be its own thing, so I'm waiting
Mm-hmm.
to see, and it's been delayed. So I want them to reintroduce it, let it come out, let me experience it. I think I would enjoy it. I like Obsidian, but I'm just not looking into that game too much. But other than that, I'm not expecting any other surprises from Xbox yet. I think they've
Gotcha.
revealed a lot. We're just waiting for those games to come out. I don't know if Doom is actually going to come out next year, but I might give it a try. I liked Doom 2016 a lot. Doom Eternal I didn't like as much. Uh, the Dark Ages, maybe I might enjoy it, but I mean it'll be a good game. But we'll see how much struggle I want to put myself through.
Yeah. No, for sure. And what about you, Jalen? Anything to add there?
I ain't got nothing to add for
Okay. Well, my thought was around. I wanted to talk about a little hardware a little bit because I know that the Xbox is now the not the most powerful console on the market. It's the PS5 Pro. Um, and it did change the way I wanted to, because I'm always looking to go back to my console experience. The only reason I stopped wanting to go to the console experience because the games weren't running well. So the PS5 Pro has given me confidence to look at a game that's old and say, does this look better than it did before? And is it 60 FPS? So for games that I've been looking to go back and play for this year, like Space Marine 2, like other games, I am defaulting to the PlayStation 5 Pro simply due to the more power. I don't want to build a library there, so I'm only buying physical, and then I'm going to sell them because I don't want to buy. I don't want to build my library there. I don't even want the saves to be there, but I do know that some games like Space Marine 2, I might be better off buying on a PC simply due to the fact that I might play the multiplayer later down the line, and I don't want those games to be stuck on the PlayStation. But games that I'm not going to care about the save after, literally, I'm going to play on the PlayStation because of the more horsepower. Do you feel like Xbox needs to answer that, or do you think that doesn't matter?
For power, I would say I'll speak for me. I'd say personally no,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that Xbox has an advantage that I will personally look more into, which is like the built-in cross-save, cross-platform nature of the Xbox ecosystem.
Yep.
That if I wanted to pick something up on Xbox physically, I can play it, and then I don't have to worry about what happens with that version in the future. Because if I can play it on PC later, and I keep literally everything, just like I bought Halo Master Chief Collection the other day. It was on sale, super cheap. Got all my saves, all my progress from the Xbox, and I can just continue to play it on PC. And I feel like that's it's not as much of a rarity nowadays. A lot more companies are doing that, but like Xbox as a platform has taken that approach for a bunch of their games, and I think that is so. If you're playing on Game Pass, that's just an expected aspect of it. So for me, I'm not, even if I didn't have like a decent PC, like just not having to worry about that is what is I'm more attracted to versus just like a
Mm.
graphically better version of a PlayStation game.
Okay. No, because I think the idea for me is that they're going to have to compete now with um Xbox is going to have to compete now with Steam OS and putting a box under my TV for Steam OS. So if I'm more comfortable, because it don't take much for them to gain the advantage at this point. All they have to do is create a box or create a operating system that works well sitting on a with controller, and they have already essentially created that. It's now creating the boxes that sits on, that, or at least the platform or the hardware that platform sits on, that connects everything. So yeah, I agree with what you're saying, um, and I think that the Xbox not only has the power issue, but it also, to me, I feel like Steam is going to come take their cookies with that too, because it's going to be more so a seamless approach to both. Um, and I think that yes, PlayStation is going to have to deal with that advantage on both ends, but if I'm a betting man, I say that okay, I don't know why I'm getting so many messages, but let me go ahead and turn down that info right quick. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet on Steam to continue on with the additional value there, or at least the additional of having cross save and all that stuff, because Steam OS is more so I can hook in Epic, I can hook in EA Play, I can hook in these other services. Xbox will not allow me to do it. It's still closed off in that wall situation. So I just feel like if I'm thinking of like longevity, I feel like I'm gonna there. Who's gonna win that fight is Steam, and who's winning the power fight? That's PlayStation. So I just feel like there has to be something that Xbox can call their own right now, and I think World Most Powerful Council was the thing for them for a while. So it's a branding problem to me. They don't have a one up on anybody right now. I think Steam might be out 2-3 years, maybe a year and a half, from putting their box under the TV, but it's not going to be that long. I think the handheld, to differentiate themselves, I think the handheld and utilizing the power of the PC to their advantage is what's going to set them apart. Game Pass is cool. Game Pass is going to win, but it does change my mindset about Xbox, and I don't want to buy any games on there anymore. Not often, anyway. And I feel like everything now, they have tricked me into believing stuff is free. They're like, it's nothing's free. So I don't know what they've done, but it's such a bad branding on their end now that um it feels like they have no escape in regards to what they've created, what the consumers are expecting, and the ability that Steam has had to catch up with them over the last 2 to 3 years. I just feel like it's going to be some scary business if they got a handheld out here. They also have PC, and they also have a home console sitting in your living room. Like, what can they already beat you? It's tough. So that's where I'm getting a little worried about Xbox not even caring about the console anymore, and just being a platform for and not even being a platform anymore, but just being a software company. Like, I think they're way more comfortable with that idea, um, which is kind of nerve wracking for me. But it is what it is. I think they're going to be very much more comfortable making accessories and software. So I think that the branding has to something has to change here. They have to take something back. And that would make me feel like they're a little bit more committed to the console space. Because right now I don't feel like they have anything they're committed to. And now that the PlayStation 5 Pro is out there and he's like, Phil is also nonchalant, like, yeah, let him have it. It tells me we're not in the business of competing with that space. But you ain't even looking at big homie over in the back, not only where everybody plays their games on your PC, but maybe they don't care. But they also are still in the method of thinking we're going to give you the cheapest offer for the digital library that you want to build, and we're going to make sure it's available to you wherever you go. It's like, how can you beat that? And yeah, I know you got Game Pass, but all you've done is tell me that I'll never need to buy your games again. So what is your messaging now? So that's where I'm concerned about them a little bit. I'm not saying that they don't have a plan. I'm not saying that they're not super smart over there, but it is signaling the wrong things today. Like you barely can find a physical copy of anything on Xbox anymore. And if I don't have the ability to play that market game and, have the strongest console, like what really is the point of this exercise? So I really need to see the vision soon. That's all I say. I need to see the vision. I think the vision is a little convoluted. I know what they want to be. They want to be in the gaming media business. They want all interactive media to exist under the umbrella of Xbox. But I think that there is fundamentals to this that needs to be clear in order for people to attach to that brand. So we'll see. But that wasn't the tangent I was trying to go on, but that's where Xbox should be. And we are very much so running up against time. But good thing Sony doesn't have much going on. Sony has Ghost of Tsushima Yotai or Ghost of Yotai and third-party stuff. Is there anything that we want to discuss that the PlayStation has announced? Did y'all like I don't think y'all like Intergalactic. I thought it was okay, but it's nothing that really showcased that made me excited. And it's definitely not coming out next year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more Ghost of Yotai, and that's about it. Is there anything I'm missing from the PlayStation camp?
I would say I don't know where they are as far as sequels or stuff like that, but we know that we're gonna get more Marvel games from them, like Spider-Man. We're gonna get more, maybe not God of War. I don't know, it might be too soon, but probably something from Santa Monica if they want to do something smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would say I'm not excited because I'm expecting more of the same, just more sequels or more of the same gameplay, just in a different space, kind of like Wolverine. I know it's not fair, but unfortunately, that's what Sony has shown me. As far as Intergalactic, I think it looks cool. I think it's also riding off the name of Naughty Dog. I want to see something new and different, not just Naughty Dog. Like, they're not my favorite developer, so I'm not that excited. But it looks okay. I'm excited for a new experience from them, I would say. Ghost of Yote is probably the strongest output from them that I'm looking forward to. I definitely will play it once it comes out, and I actually don't even need to see that much of it.
I think your mic cut out. For some reason, Josh. But what I'll say about PlayStation is that they have the most potential to wow us because they haven't shown us anything yet. And maybe that's a good and bad thing, but they haven't shown anything to provide me with any expectations. And maybe at the top of the year they come out with some bangers to showcase what's coming out. and I'm trying to figure out if there was like I say PlayStation. Let's say PlayStation 2025. Like even on their upcoming new and upcoming games, they have Death Stranding 2. Oh, I forgot about that. Forever Skies, Pirates of Yakuza in Hawaii, Monster Hunter Wilds, Assassin's Creed Shadows, Little Nightmares 3. Like they have a bunch of games that are coming to both consoles. They talk about Doom, Dark Ages, of course. But the Death Stranding 2 and Where the Winds Meet, and I believe the other one is Ghost of Yotai. Those are the three games that are coming out mentioned for them, and that might be good for some, but I think that it's a little of a short of a list today. It's in today's age, so um,
It sound okay now?
sounds good.
Okay, yeah, I don't have much else to add. I'm expecting more of the same from the first party studios, but I think overall PlayStation has been pretty quiet this year with big titles, so they could have some surprises. But we just gotta wait and see.
Yeah. Um, I guess, and regardless of what I think about PlayStation to this year, they definitely still had a decent year. It wasn't like it was a bad year for games for them. There's a pretty decent amount of games that came out that are critically acclaimed. That either was exclusive to them third party wise or exclusive to them from their first parties. Astrobot obviously winning Game of the Year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, regardless of how we feel about it. We all still copped it. So there's games that they did have come out that we all are either enjoyed or had interest in. So
Except for Concord.
yeah, Concord was a pretty bad showing. They had a miss, they had a flop. Basically that was their Redfall. Um, but yeah, no, I wasn't even their Redfall because I ain't never seen a game go offline like so quickly and they just refund everybody. But that for sure, all their good and their bad came in this year as well. Nintendo, I'm just looking for the Nintendo Switch. The new one. I don't really have anything else that I need from Nintendo. There's not even a game that I want to play from Nintendo on the Nintendo Switch 2. I just need to see that they are capable of making a successor that doesn't fail. And I think that they should be able to do this with the Nintendo Switch 2. Most of the time it's a flop, but I'm really hoping that it doesn't happen this time. They find success, then they lose that success. That's going from Nintendo 64 to GameCube. Where then we go from the Wii to the Wii U. Now we're going to the Switch. I really want to see if they can do it. That's the only time. That's the only thing I care about. Like, can you do it? And if they can, great. It's always been ebb and flows with them, and I think that this is going to be the down path of their. They already gave us two Zeldas in that same generation. You know, I don't know. Y'all think that they're gonna have a good one? I think the Switch 2 gonna be good.
Personally, I'd say it should be because it should be an easy layup, just more but better.
Yeah.
It's not like the motion controls where people literally got tired of it. So, yeah, but again, it's Nintendo. They could do something crazy.
Yeah. Okay. But that's pretty much it. I don't really have anything else. Apologies for trying to wrap it up a little bit quicker. I did want to talk a little bit more about Nintendo and PlayStation, but we kind of ran out of time here. But I want to thank you guys for listening. As always, we do appreciate you tuning in and listening to the conversations. This year has been a good one for the pod as well as just us in general. So I want to thank you for rocking with us as always, and we will. As Josh is in the new year, we will be bringing in that new year here shortly. And thank you again for checking us out, taking a listen. Follow us up wherever you want to follow us. We're on YouTube. We're on all your podcast platforms. Give us a rating if you can. And we'll see you in the next year. But as always, see you in a week. Peace.